Hey Carly, it's great to see you
Hi,
again.
Sarah.
You just hang up your coat.
Thanks.
So, how's your week been?
Pretty good. Pretty busy, as usual.
Yeah.
Yep.
How are you liking the cold weather?
I'm not liking it so much, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Wintertime is upon us, I guess.
Hopefully it's a short one.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right. Well, it's good to see you. So, how about we just get started?
Sure.
We're just going to start with summarizing our last session, just to make sure that we're on the same page.
Okay.
So, your main concerns were that you were having issues financially to pay for school, because you are a part-time student. You also just recently broke up with your boyfriend, so now you have to pay for rent and your living expenses all by yourself.
Yep.
And you're kind of finding that you're in a dead-end job and you would like to possibly look at new opportunities.
Yeah.
Does that sound kind of like I covered everything?
Yep. I think you got everything there.
Okay, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that happened since our last session that maybe has impacted you or that you feel I should know about?
Well, it's been a while since I've seen you last. I guess in terms of the boyfriend situation.
Okay.
So we got back together for about a week.
Okay.
And then, I don't know, I kind of just realized that I was doing okay, kind of empowered without him, and things were just, I guess I was kind of adjusting. So anyways, after the week of, trying to make things work with him, I called it quits. And so, yeah.
Okay, and how's that making you feel?
Good. Like, I feel okay about it. Like, I still obviously have stressors from financial things, but in terms of, like, things with him, now knowing that I thought, by blaming him for leaving me in that kind of tight spot that I was in, but, like, now I just find, like, I'm not resentful of him or anything like that. I now know it was better to not be, in a relationship with him where I was, I don't know, not myself.
Yeah. So it just sounds like you're really an independent person and now you're really ready to tackle some of these problems that you have ahead of you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, sorry.
Must be the cold air.
It's just really, sorry, I just have kind of been sick this week. So let's just discuss where you live and your environment.
Okay. I'm still in my apartment.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I don't want to say, like, the rent might be going up soon, but I know there's always a yearly increase, so I'm sure that will be happening in the next little while, but it's not really something that I'm too concerned about right now at this point.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm still in my apartment, still looking for a different job. Just, again, like to help with financial things, rent, my bills, like things of that nature. So.
Okay. And are you feeling safe in your apartment? Like it's a good neighborhood, everything like that? You're comfortable being there by yourself?
It's good. I have not too many complaints about it. I think it's convenient for right now because it's close to my work. Or, relatively close anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's good.
That's good. So today with this session, I thought we could kind of look at presenting problems. So clearly you are feeling, I don't want to say great, but you're feeling pretty good about the breakup and knowing that it was the right thing to do.
100%.
Okay, so now we kind of are going to more focus on your other two issues, which, as you had stated before, were financial and school. So do you still feel like those are your two problems and your main concerns?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I guess going into the school part of things, I took your advice.
Okay.
I consulted with one of the student advisors, and she's kind of led me in the right direction in terms of like student aid and kind of getting me on that path for tuition. I was telling you last time how tuition was due soon. So yeah, I've been talking with her a lot about options of where I can go with student aid, like I said. And yeah, and then the job stuff, I I don't know, it's still really important to me. Like I want to find somewhere else. It's just, it hasn't been on the top of my priority list. I guess just life's been busy.
Okay. So it sounds to me like you really took away from last session and you've started acting upon to complete your goals.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're comfortable with it, I would like to kind of focus more on your financial situation and possibly the job for this session.
Okay.
If that's okay with you.
Sure.
Yeah? Okay. I don't know why I'm so itchy.
I'm telling you that this air is just so dry. You're good.
All right. So now that we have gone over your recent history with your boyfriend, do you find that you are looking at other social supports now, like maybe a group of friends, or maybe you're looking at your family?
Yeah, I mean, my family probably more than anything. I think last time I was kind of talking to you about my relationship with my parents is really good. My friends, yeah, like they're pretty supportive too, but I mean, they don't really have a huge role in terms of like my financial accountability. Like that's something that's more just on me. But they're great for, like emotional support or, just an ear to listen, things of that nature.
That's always good to have.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, I can't really say that as much for people in my class. Like our classes are so big, it's hard to really connect with anybody on an intellectual level. So I guess, yeah, going back to your question, definitely relying a lot on family for that type of support.
Well, that's always good. Mm-hmm. Do you find that you're close with your coworkers?
Some. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes I feel as a receptionist like I'm kind of far removed from the core staff that work in my building, because literally my desk is not right in the center of where everybody else works in the office. Okay. It's at the very front of the office. So, I might catch somebody for, some very brief conversation, small talk, what will you have there? And, yeah, I don't really have close connections, I would say, with coworkers.
So you said that you're really close with your family. I remember you said last session you had some siblings. Do you find you're more close with your parents or your siblings, and do they help you kind of cope with some strategies?
Well, my siblings are a lot younger than I am.
Okay.
So, I mean, I guess that's kind of a different type of stressor, because like more of an emotional stressor that I would put on myself because, I like to think that I'm their role model, that they're looking up to me, and I'm really trying to, get things sorted out for myself. So it's mostly just my parents, to be honest with you.
Okay. And do you find that, like, if you're having troubles or anything like that, you can always go and talk to them and that they'll be there for you?
Yeah, totally. I should also mention I have a stepsister.
Okay.
She's a little bit older than I am, but she's married, has a couple kids. But I mean, when her and I do have the chance to talk and get together, she's equally as supportive as my parents. So it's a nice support to have. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I was telling you last time, like I rely a lot on just my parents.
Yeah. So it feels like you have a good bond with your parents, and you have your siblings, and you are trying to be a good role model for them, which is always a good thing. Do you want to tell me a little bit about them, or?
Well, I have 2 younger siblings.
Okay.
They're 8 and 10. Okay. So they're pretty young. They're in school right now. Yeah, I don't know. They're elementary kids, That's about it. Like I said, my stepsister, she has her own family stuff going on, and she lives about 25 minutes away from me. But, I mean, when we see each other, we're super tight. We're super close.
I was just wondering. I wanted to know a little bit more about you. But it does sound like you are a very good worker and you get the job done. Mm-hmm. And I can imagine that would be hard to go to school after working a long day. But it sounds like you do have a good support group and friends and family and people that you can talk to when in need.
Thank you, Sarah. Yes, they're very supportive.
That's good.
Like I was telling you last time, I rely a lot on my family for, specifically my parents still right now, because I don't have the vehicle situation under control as of right now so much. But they, are always willing to help me get from point A to point B, so to speak. So a lot of that is me relying on them for transportation to and from work during the week. And luckily for me, work right now is close to my school. So, that being said, I'm then getting them to help me out with traveling back from school to home. But they're willing and they get it, so they are more than happy to help, from what I understand anyways.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm really happy that you can feel, wanted and that they are there to help you. That's always a good thing to have. Can I just ask you what you find your strengths to be?
I guess my strengths, I would say I'm motivated.
Okay.
I like to set goals and meet them. And I guess just, part of that is just being determined. And obviously with being determined, you have to be a good multitasker. So I think I'm pretty strong in that area, so to speak. And independent, like you said, I think I am.
I've really noticed, you said you were motivated and to accomplish goals you set, and last session we talked about maybe possibly looking at student aids, and you've already gone through that process and talked with someone who could help you, so that's a good thing.
That was all thanks to you, Sarah. I came in here last time, I kind of felt like I was in a panic in a very tight spot, and you just generated all these great ideas that really helped. So I took your advice and I kind of just ran with it.
Well, I'm glad I can help, but really this is all on you, and you're the one who went with it, so I'm proud of you for doing that.
Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
So nice.
So when you have time to relax, what do you find yourself doing? Do you have any hobbies or?
Well, I am a part-time student. I'm very busy. But sometimes later in the afternoon on Sundays, I like to try and catch some yoga.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. I used to be pretty active when I was a kid.
Okay.
So, yoga is not necessarily active so much for the body, but I think it's really active in terms for the mind. And, it helps me to just de-stress. And, just kind of recenter myself and, just have some relaxation and some me time.
Yeah, that's always important. And I'm really glad that you do have something you can fall back on to relax and to calm you down when you need it. Do you think there's anything that might be holding you back in your situation?
Just the obvious, which I've kind of shared with you on multiple occasions now. Well, I guess twice. But just like the financial stress is really, that's what I think is holding me back now the most is just still feeling that financial burden. I know with it being winter, like we were saying earlier, Christmas is right around the corner.
Yeah.
I have a relatively big immediate family. So, that's another thing that's always going to be in my head too, right, is money, because you need money for presents. I have siblings. I don't want to let them down. And obviously my parents, that you don't want to cut them short on Christmas. So financially, I would still be one of my bigger struggles, I guess, that I'm still dealing with.
Okay. Well, that's good that you've identified what you feel is your main stressor, and that we can hopefully put some goals and strategies in to help you with that. Sorry. Do you think there's any circumstances that could change that would benefit you?
Could change, that I would want to change?
Yeah.
I would like to see myself have a new profession.
Okay.
That's still probably one of my
main goals.
Yeah, main goals.
So when you say the new profession, you are talking about a short-term goal, like a new profession, until you complete your law studies?
I want something that's related to what I'm working towards.
Okay.
And I found a lot of good volunteering opportunities that relate to that, but unfortunately those are just not things that are going to pay the bills, so to speak, right? So, I would just like something that's not what I'm doing right now.
Okay. So I would just like to take a step back right now for a second, and I just want to highlight some of your strengths because you are very independent, you are very goal-orientated, and those are two very important personality aspects that will help you in this situation. So I would just like to point that out. And I'm just wondering if you find that there's any personality strengths or anything like that that might be more helpful and can help with the situation.
Well, first of all, Sarah, thank you for that. That was very kind. Personality strengths, I guess, it kind of just goes back to what I kind of think about myself.
Okay.
I'm determined. So with that determination, I'm determined to want to find a new profession.
So you're very determined.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sorry. I mean, for coping, that's even good too, to know that you are determined, because you can always take that step back and know that in order to succeed, you might need to take a little rest and maybe do some yoga or maybe go visit family.
Mm-hmm.
I would also just like to ask you what you think might be more barriers to the situation. Like, I do remember you saying that your parents are helping you out with transportation
Mm-hmm.
right now, so that is obviously a barrier we're going to have to discuss, but do you think there might be any more?
No, I think as far as barriers, that's pretty much the main barrier I have right now. I guess in terms of, how I was seeing my ex for a little bit there for about a week and then I cut it off again.
Okay.
I guess kind of just sticking to that would be another barrier, like cutting off all connection, because now I know that it's not something that I want to be in a relationship with him. But just, cutting all ties,
Yeah.
But I would consider that more of a smaller barrier than something like transportation.
Okay. I'm just going to ask you a quick question here. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your motivation to accomplish your goals that you're setting for yourself?
Well, right now, I guess I would have to say a solid 7.
Okay, that's good.
Because the reason I say that is because I've already tried to be proactive in dealing with some of the things that I'm going through in terms of school.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think there's always room for improvement. So, I put myself at a 7 because I still know that there's work that needs to be done. So things like finding another job and not feeling like such a financial burden is weighing me down, so to speak. So yeah, I guess I would say, and I like where I am in life. Life is good. I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that my job right now is not my forever job, and I just am ready to find something and start somewhere new.
Okay, that does make sense. I'm happy you shared that with me.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at specifics here, when you say you're looking for a new job, what do you think would be some of the things you could highlight maybe to someone interviewing you that you might point out as some of your strengths for working?
Well, like I said earlier, multitasking is definitely a strength that I think employers would want to know about. I think I'm very flexible in terms of when, with hours and things of that nature, or even just very versatile in the work that I can do. I was a little hesitant to say flexible just because I am in school, but I mean, that can always work itself out, I'm sure. Yeah, and I'm very just personable, and I think I'm friendly, and sometimes those small, simple characteristics are the most important. So,
okay, that's good. How comfortable are you feeling like with computers? I know you are a secretary, so you must feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. If you'll excuse me, I just have to go get a glass of water.
No problem.